Okay, my wonderful students, we're going to talk today about writing two variable linear inequalities. Very similar to what we did in the last unit, but we had to write two equations. This time we're just going to write one inequality, okay? I might go a little bit fast, but you can always stop and rewind and take notes. You can do that, okay? So let's start with the first one. Grace wants to buy some new clothes, but she cannot afford more than. If she can't afford more than, that means she has to get less than or equal to 75. No more than. So that means whatever she spends, what she spends is over here, has to be less than or equal to before sales tax is added. The blouses that she wants are priced at 17 and the pants are priced at 25. Write an inequality to determine B, the number of blouses, and P, the number of pants. Oh my gosh, this problem already identified the variables for us. It said B equals the number of blouses, and it says P equals the number of pants. So that's like the first thing you always want to do. Identify your variables, right? Now, whenever you're trying to look at total cost, you guys should know this. You take the number that you're buying and you multiply it by the price. So B is the number, and this is the price. So the price is 17 times the number. We don't know how many. Add that with 25 times the number. That added together needs to be less than or equal to $75. This will give us the sets that will work together. And again, in our next lesson, we'll learn how to graph this so you can see all the different solution sets. Okay? Right now, we're just going to, bam, make sure we can set it up. Okay? So like I said, we're going to move on so that the video is short, but you can always go back and write this on your own. Okay? Okay, so we're going to sweep that away, and we're going to move to the next problem. Here's our example 2. Let me put that web paint back up there. Carson is a high school student with 2 part-time jobs. For one of the jobs, he earns $6 an hour, and that's for babysitting. Oops, that's a little sloppy, so let me take that away. Sorry, I'm doing this at home, so as you guys know, when I do these videos at home, I have my dogs and I have my grandkids. Babysitting, there we go. And he earned $8 for doing clerical work. Okay, we have 2 different things going on here. 2 different things. Okay, so we can go ahead and identify those. B is going to be the number of hours of babysitting. Right? And C is the number of hours of clerical work. Okay? So now we have those 2 identified, okay? His goal is to learn at least. So this time, what he earns, what we're going to figure out over here, needs to be greater than or equal to, because it has to be at least $96 a week. Okay? So at least. So we're going to write an inequality to represent the problem. That at least gave me a clue. It needs to be greater than or equal to 96, because that's the smallest amount. See how the smallest part is pointing here? That's the smallest amount he wants to make. So again, when you're calculating how much you make, you take your rate and you multiply it by how many hours, right? So like if you're making $10 an hour and you work 5 hours, you would say 5 times 10. Well, that's what we're going to do. We're going to say 6 times the number of babysitting plus 8 times the number of clerical. And that needs to be greater than or equal to 96. Now, again, in our next lesson, we're gonna show how to graph this and see the solution sets. See how many hours of babysitting with how many hours of clerical will help him reach his goal. And there's different combinations. And that's why graphing it, you can see the various combinations. Okay? So we're going to do one more. Here we go. Hopefully my grandkids are going to last for one more. Let me put this here. And here is our last example. Let me scroll this down. Okay, that's as far as it scrolls. And let me put my web paint up. Okay, you and your family attend your brother's championship baseball game. Between innings, you decide to go to the snack stand. You go to the snack stand with $15 and find that the sodas are $2.50 and bags of popcorns are $1.75. Write the inequality to represent this. Now, this time we don't have anything that says more than or less than. Nowhere does it say it. But we know we have $15 to spend, and that's all we have. So whenever we know that that's all we have, we can say $15, but everything we spend, here's what we're going to spend, has to be less than or equal to 15. Let's identify what our variables are. Sodas are $2.50. So we're going to put sodas, number of sodas is going to equal S. And popcorn is $1.75. So number of popcorn is going to equal P. So now we can write it, okay? We can write, you know what, I'm going to move this over just a little bit so we can write this better. Okay, so less than or equal to $15. That's all we have to spend. So we can say $2.50 times the sodas plus $1.75 times the popcorn has to be less than or equal to 15. Okay? There's our equation for the last one. Again, we're going to learn about how to graph these so we find our solution sets in our next lesson. There you go.